Bring in the foreign desk editor-in-chief, Lisa Daftari. Lisa, great to have you on. The New York Post writes the following here. U.S. military bases in Europe on high alert over possible terror threat. It goes on. The alert is the second highest state of alarm issued by the U.S. Army, and an American official at one of the bases said they hadn't witnessed that level in at least a decade. And, of course, Jennifer confirmed that. It's significant, in other words.
Right, quite significant. They're comparing the environment right now to what we had before 9/11, meaning there are these alarms that are going off. Now, are we paying attention to those alarms? What Jennifer said that was interesting is that we don't know if it could be ISIS, it could be one of the Iran regime's proxies,
right.
It could be the Russians. So it's almost an environment that is ripe for that. And that is just showing one thing. It's U.S. vulnerability. It is the posturing of the White House that has led to our enemies or rogue elements across the board to feel as though they can have a shot at it right now.
I wonder what you think of Iran's threat when they come out and they say, you know what, they could get hit. This is one of those things you're like, oh, it's I don't know if it's unusual, but it seems very bold for Iran to make a statement like that.
It is bold, but it is expected because they have become emboldened. Look, right now, as much as the White House would like to distance ourselves from the war that's going on in the Middle East, the Iran regime does not see any daylight between Israel and the United States. That's why we're being shot out in the Red Sea by the Houthis. That's why there are American hostages being held by Hamas.
Yeah.
That's why we've been watching as the Iran regime has been beefing up its assets in Central America, South America, just south of our border. And now let's talk about our border. 700 to 1,000 terrorists or wannabe terrorists have been apprehended at the southern and northern border. Now think about the people who got away, the people who have not been detected. So there's a reason why there are these threats right now. It could be here on the homeland, it could be in our assets across the board, or obviously in the Middle East.
I'm curious because Lucas Tomlinson, his sources, the Pentagon, telling him this is not connected to the French elections. What is the connection? What do you think, Lisa? I
think it's just the vulnerability. It's the positioning that we have right now. Look, the one thing that we have to discuss right now leading up to our election, because we're in an election year, and that's why they believe this attack will happen before the election, is that foreign policy is not a partisan issue, and it has been treated as such. We have this polka dot foreign policy right now. We had a foreign policy under President Obama, a very different foreign policy under President Trump, and now we have a similar foreign policy as the Obama policy under President Biden. That is why our enemies actually wanted. You saw Iran's regime actually wanting Biden to be elected. They say, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, we'll take that foreign policy, the one that doesn't show any deterrence to the enemies of the United States.
And who knows if they saw the debate. Lisa Daftari,
Hope
Lisa,
not.
Great to have you on. Thank you. Well, coming up.